there. Hi, this is Meta Fantasy. This is a follow-up to the video that I recorded yesterday about doing a dictée, and I just wanted to add a little bit more information. So yesterday I showed everyone what a dictée is, gave the steps of doing it, so listening to the sentences, writing your initial guess of the spelling, writing down your perfected version, and then circling the differences, skip 2 lines, repeat the process for as many sentences as end up being given in the dictée. But right now I just want to take a moment to go over what you can actually gain and learn from a dictée, so that way we can keep in mind what we're trying to do when we do an activity like this. So, once again, we have the sentences ça va bien and il y a un élève. So, the first thing that you're doing is checking your spelling. So, you're learning what letters actually appear in French words. So, eventually you'll figure out that, for example, the letter W doesn't tend to appear anywhere in French words. Like, I cannot think of a single French word in the entire language that contains that letter. So you'll begin to pick up on patterns like that. You'll begin to make connections between what letters make what sounds, because usually your first instinct for the spelling is going to be what it sounds like. So like, if you look at this tells you how to pronounce this. So maybe the first time you look at this sentence and you haven't written down a dictée, you might look at that and be like, Cavabayan, which is not correct. But if you look at that, then you're like, ça va bien, point. Right, ça va bien, and then the punctuation point. So that way you can make this comparison. So compare what you see with what you heard. So basically your first attempt is pronunciation notes. Then moving on from there, you're also building meaning and taking notes on that. So, for example, the sentence ça va bien technically means it goes or is going well. So that way you can build understanding of basic phrases in the French language. Ça va bien is a very common phrase. And then you can also start building and understanding the relationships between what words individually mean what things. So another example is, well, we can also just look directly at this. So va, when we look at a verb in the present tense, it can mean either is going or goes. So there are 2 different ways where we would say it in English in comparison with the one way that it's said in French. So you can start picking up on some grammar rules right there. If we look at the sentence il y a un élève, means there is a student. And when you compare there is a student with il y a un élève, maybe you'll notice the difference in the number of words. So the 3-word phrase il y a translates to the 2-word phrase in English there is. So then you might look further, dig deeper, figure out what these words mean by themselves. So il literally means it or he. Y, the preposition, means there. And a literally means has. So if you look at these weird things that don't quite make sense in English, in French, which is a weird phrase to even consider, you build what's called cognitive dissonance. So it's just kind of combating ideas, combating thoughts within your brain. And the more you can identify cognitive dissonance between the French and English languages, and point those things out, the more you're going to be able to pick up on with the French language in terms of what different things mean and how to use the language. Because different languages function differently from one another. Your biggest goal with French class or any world language class is going to be able to use the language. And it's one thing to sit down and try and memorize a list of grammatical rules, and a completely different thing to figure out what those rules are based on what you can already say, what you can already use in a conversation. So hopefully your dictée sentences will end up being the types of sentences and phrases that you want to and are eventually able to use in conversations, and then you can like make French friends or Belgian friends or friends from other French-speaking countries that I don't feel like listing right now because I'm still partially on summer brain. But yeah, hopefully you can get a lot out of your dictée, and then, you know, learn French, broaden your horizons, and make connections with people all over the world. Merci, au revoir.